Dr. Spurgeon is a PhD degree holder. So he's is really a brilliant expert, talent expert in this industry, in this topic. So you can expect more inputs from Dr. Spurgeon. About PRSA, yes, it's uh, uh, the society exclusively for public relations and corpcom executives. Is a PhD degree holder. So he's hello. Yeah, there are more than 3,000 members across India in this PRSA, Public Relations Society of India, and we have got 23 chapters. So whoever wants to become a member and to learn more about corporate communications, public relations, advertising, media, can join in our PRSA chapters. We have got 23 chapters across India, and we are hosting this event from Chennai. The total event is going to be in another 30-35 minutes. Dr. Spurgeon will speak for next 30-35 minutes, and then let us have a small Q&A session, and then we will wind off. End of the program, Dr. Raja, the secretary, will give the certificate. Will send the form for certificates. Now over to Dr. Sridevi, our treasurer, to brief about to give a small intro about Dr. Spurgeon. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Spurgeonis, who has warmly accepted our invitation to join us today. Dr. Spurgeonis is a distinguished corporate communications and ESG marketing professional with over 15 years of international experience across India, Dubai, and Ethiopia. His expertise spans strategic communications, ESG branding, sustainability reporting, PR, media relations, and digital marketing. Currently serving as manager corporate communications at Virtuosa Consulting Private Limited, Dr. Spurgeon leads ESG communication, sustainability storytelling, and talent branding initiatives. He plays a key role in integrating sustainability messaging into corporate branding and ensuring ESG narratives are communicated authentically. Dr. Spurgeon has held leadership roles in corporate communications at top global organizations like Danfoss Industries India Private Limited, Success Technology India Private Limited, and ETA Group Dubai. He also has academic experience and worked as an assistant professor of journalism and mass communications at leading institutions including Hawassa University and Jimma University in Ethiopia and Manipal University, Dubai. His research contributions in corporate branding, sustainability communications, and media studies have been published in reputed international journals. With a blend of corporate expertise and academic depth, Dr. Spurgeon offers practical strategies for organizations looking to enhance their ESG communications efforts, building credibility, and engage stakeholders effectively in the sustainability narrative. Today, Dr. Spurgeon will speak on the rise of ESG communications in PR. Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir. Over to you.
Many thanks, Sri Devi, Ramkumar sir, and Dr. Raja. Thank you very much for bringing me on board. It's a pleasure being here this evening, and it's a knowledge sharing session, and I think I should be able to do justice to the time that people have invested here. So, as you all are aware, the topic for today's discussion is the rise of ESG communication in PR. So PR is, in fact, going through a tough phase where organizations struggle to actually bring their brand into the media. Today, everything is very commercial. Therefore, it has been a challenge for corporates and, in fact, for the PR agencies as well to, bring the right amount of ethical coverage about a media, about a brand into the people's heart. And today, I think I will be throwing a little bit of light on how ESG as a content could actually pave a way for PR agencies, PR strategists, communications professionals inside the corporate. Using ESG communications, the brand can be more visible to the public. So that is what we're going to understand in this particular session. So can I quickly cross check if everybody is able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome.
Sir.
Thank you. So,
It is visible. Visible, sir. It is visible.
okay, thank you so much. Okay, so before
If
we
you can
go
put it
into,
on slideshow, please.
yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Perfect. So, yes. So before deep diving into how ESG communication can help uh, companies to brand themselves in a much better fashion, we need to understand what ESG is. ESG, as you all are aware of, it stands for environmental, social, and governance. So every company is expected to abide by certain guidelines or frameworks to tell the public that they are environmental friendly, socially responsible, and they follow the governance required uh, to structure or ensure ethical and transparent operations. So that is why ESG has become a prominent thing that people are talking today. So it is not just uh, businesses are motivated to get profits, but they are also uh, they also have the desire to be environmental friendly, socially responsible, and to follow the governance or the governmental compliance requirements. So ESG has become a key factor in corporate reputation. So why do we actually need ESG? Because to invite the investors, the consumers, regulators, and employees. Today, especially with Gen Z as the employee strength, most of them are the new beginners. Baby boomers are no more in the market. Uh, and the new generation actually looks for companies where they can actually contribute for a much uh, responsible future. Therefore, ESG in today's world has become a prominent factor for investors to invest in new businesses, even for consumers to understand the company, the brand, and then decide on whether they have to purchase the product or not, and even for the regulators to regulators, the government regulators, or private regulators or certifying bodies, for them to know that this company or this brand or this product that is there in the market comes out of genuineness and a fair play. So this actually impacts the corporate reputation and branding. A well communicated ESG strategy enhances brand trust. It differentiates a company in the market, attracts ethical investors, and mitigates risk associated with sustainability concerns. Let's take an example here so that we understand the situation a little more better. There are two brands, X and Y, and one company claims themselves to have a environmental friendly strategy. What do I mean by environmental friendly strategy? Let's take a very simple example. Today, we don't use the high electricity consuming bulbs or equipments even at our homes. We talk about saving water to our children. What if this corporate has implemented equipments and lights that actually save energy? Yes, the business makes a lot of profit, but why should it save on energy? For two reasons. One is cost cutting. The other reason is that it wants to be environmental friendly, right? So today I order a product on Amazon, and there are two products that I order. One product comes with a environmental friendly packaging, and the other comes probably in a plastic bag. So what is the difference here? If somebody is going to be ethically involved in saving the planet, probably that product is going to get a differentiation from the other product that is there in the market. It's also going to attract ethical investors. So therefore, the highlight here is sustainability is now a key brand pillar. For a brand to stand in the market, there are several things, and sustainability today is considered to be one of the brand pillars. It is not just about the price of the product, it is not just about the quality of the product, it is not just about how the company manages its employees and brings in profit to the company, but sustainability is one of the key, also a key factor or a brand pillar based on which people make decisions. It gives a brand identity. It helps in gaining higher trust within the company, within the stakeholders, investors, and builds a confidence and consumer loyalty. Here are two examples on the screen where we are going to talk about Tesla and IKEA. So Tesla in the year 2021 had capitalized, their capitalization exceeded $1 trillion. How do you think that this happened? Because they came out with a sustainable innovation. Okay, when I talk about Tesla, you can also talk about Ola. To have a more relatable understanding of these electric vehicles. There are n number of electric vehicles today, but I would not buy something that I would not go or walk into a showroom which actually was started a few months back. Rather, I would trust Ola or iQube from Suzuki, or a e-bike from Hero or Honda. So why am I choosing that particular brand? It is because I know for sure that their innovation is sustainable. For sure, I know that I'm not going to fill the land with dump that comes out of these electric vehicles. And
Excuse me,
therefore, I make a...
Sir, can you change your slides, sir? And where in previous slides, can you change and check the slides, sir?
Okay. Did you not
Okay.
see the slide? I'm so sorry for
Yes,
that.
sir. Yeah, we are seeing your slides, but now it's changing, sir. Now only it's changing. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, how come is that? I really don't know. Okay. Okay. So now we are able to see, right?
Also,
I'm talking about
yeah,
Tesla and IKEA.
Yes, sir.
sir, also if you can please put it on presentation mode, sir.
What is that?
Can you put it on presentation mode, sir?
Yeah, I've already done that. Can you see or no?
No, sir, it's not on presentation mode because we are able to see the slides on the sides.
No, but on my screen it's on presentation mode, sir.
No, we can see the slides here.
All right, okay. It's not
Audio is
full
not
page.
visible.
Doctor, you can
It's
proceed.
not in presentation mode. That's why it's a no problem.
Yes, sir. Please proceed, sir.
Okay, I'm so sorry for that. I really don't know. Here I can see it on my full screen, but unfortunately, I think you guys are seeing the other slides as well. Okay, so IKEA similarly, IKEA's investment in renewable energy and circular economy initiatives has enhanced its profitability. The company aims to be climate positive by 2030. What do you mean by climate positive? Every company, for that matter, when they run a business, they consume energy, they send out waste from their company, which actually impacts the environment. So if I have to be climate positive, that means whatever carbon emission, methane emission that I am sending into this world, into this environment, has to be neutralized. So IKEA has a pledge to itself that they're going to be climate positive by 2030. What is more interesting is that their products are designed for reuse and recycling. I do not know how many of you have, had a chance to use IKEA products. They have a scheme where you can reuse the product, which means they will fix your furnitures. If there is a issue with your furniture, you don't have to throw it in the dump, but rather they have a buying scheme where they will reuse and recycle the existing products that they have created for the consumers. So these are sustainable things. I'm just trying to throw a little bit of light of for people to understand what sustainability is, what ESG, how ESG contributes to sustainability. But this ESG is not something that it is not something that is very uh, new to the businesses. It has already been there, but it played. What is that? I could hear somebody speak.
No, you proceed, doctor. Proceed.
Okay, so ESG is not a very new concept, but of course, this has come to limelight in the recent past. Probably around last 5 years, this ESG is being talked about by all the companies. So, as communication professionals, we need to understand that there is a paradigm shift from the CSR driven branding communications to ESG driven branding communications. So what do I mean by that? If you remember the Achi Masala, the brand, sometime back, we all know that they had advertisements on televisions saying that they are using differently abled people to produce Achi Masala. Do you remember that? Any one of you?
That is Sakti Masala, doctor.
Oh, okay, Sakti Masala. Sakti Masala. I'm sorry for that. So Sakti Masala came out with a strategy where they publicize that they use differently abled people to produce their goods. We've also heard about different foundation, the Tata Foundation, the Reliance Foundation, doing a lot of charity work to the society, corporate social responsibility. I did a park. I did give some scholarship to my, to students in colleges. I built a road. I built some parks, or I built a water tank. Companies came out and told the world that they are socially responsible. But this social responsibility is just one part to the ESG that we are talking today. And CSR can be classified under social. E, environmental, social, and governance. And CSR actually falls into the social category. It is not that we are, completely ignoring CSR, but we are trying to incorporate CSR into the S part of the ESG, so that it is not just the corporate social responsibility or the philanthropic activities that I'm going to talk to my audience, my stakeholders, but rather I'm going to talk about the other factors which contribute more to the society and to the environment where we live in. Because today we need to focus on a situation where we give a better future for our children. We are now into a situation where we have climate change. Chennai, Chennai sees extreme rains. There are mountains melting down. So these are climate changes, and therefore corporates have to be responsible. And this is the thing that I'm going to communicate to my stakeholders, and thereby drive my brand to a greater height. So let's go into this slide. One, the style of communication. The focus of a CSR driven communication is philanthropy and community support, whereas the ESG driven communication is business integration and measurable impact. The tone for CSR driven communication usually is charitable and social good. But here in ESG driven communication, it is more related to data and strategic sustainability. How do I execute this? Yes, it is not that we are not going to use press releases and local outreach to communicate our ESG related things to the public, but we also use the ESG report. We use a lot of digital campaigns, and keep talking to our investors and stakeholders about this. What is the alignment it has towards the business? CSR generally, if you see, is separate from the core business. For example, Tata Foundation, yes, it takes the profit of 2% from the other Tata businesses. They pump that fund into the foundation, and they then do certain kind of activities. But here in sustainability and ESG driven communication, it is integrated with the business goals. And the impact of reporting is qualitative stories in CSR driven communication, and here in ESG driven communication, it is more quantifiable results with KPIs. KPI stands for key performance indicators. Therefore, it is clearly understandable that 73% of consumers prefer brands that align with their personal values, especially sustainability. Okay, sustainability is sometimes a misleading word. For example, I decide to join a company to work. Does that come under sustainability? What are the criteria that I will decide before joining a job? There are several factors. Of course, the package, whether I'm covered on a medical insurance, is my family covered on a medical insurance, is my job reliable, is my company close to my home, do I get hybrid model of work, all that is analyzed. But today people also talk about diversity, equity and inclusion. So you might have a doubt if diversity, equity and inclusion is part of sustainability. Yes, it is. Companies want to be inclusive. They want to have, third gender into their businesses. They want, we talk about gay and lesbians are no more treated uh, differently from the normal public. So inclusive environment is something that the governance part of ESG actually promotes amongst its stakeholders. Today, when we talk about board members, even at the board level, we are looking at having women employees. 50% of my board members are women is something that we talk proud about a company. So based on all these decisions or all these informations, people actually make decisions whether to join a job or not. Especially the younger generation, particularly the millennials and Gen Zs, actively boycott brands that are perceived as unethical or unsustainable. If I get an information that Louis Philippe or a Van Huysen or an Alan Solly shirt that I buy is produced by child labor, will I ever buy that product? No. So therefore, Alan Solly or Louis Philippe or Van Huysen have to constantly tell the world that their employees are above 18 years. So how do I do that? Business must authentically integrate ESG into their brand story. ESG is not a standalone unit like the CSR driven communication, but it is part of the brand. It starts right from the vision and mission of the company. So how did IKEA make a difference? IKEA's investment in renewable energy and circular economy. How many of you are Tamil here? Is everybody Tamil here? I would like to give a very nice example in Tamil so that people can relate to circular economy.
No, sir, we
Doctor,
have
around
the pan
30%
India.
people are 30% people knows only English, but
Okay.
in one or two Tamil examples, okay.
Okay. I will try to quickly tell you this. Okay. When we were children, and when rice, okay, rice was the staple food of South India, and therefore even in the night we used to consume rice. Once there is some leftover rice, today's generation generally throws it away. But during our grandmother period, it was like, we pour water into it, and the next day morning it is used as as breakfast. What if there is even more rice left? What they do, they pinch, they put chili, they put onions inside that, they grind it well, and then they dry it in the hot sun for uh, it is made into kulvatal. I don't know how many of you can relate to this example. So this is actually the circular economy that brands are trying to do. How do I use my product? How do I sustain the product? How do I recycle the product and make the best use of it? So IKEA's investment in renewable energy and circular economy initiatives have enhanced its profitability while reducing its environmental impact. The company aims to be climate positive by 2030, focusing on sourcing 100% renewable energy. Renewable energy comes from the wind energy, the solar energy, and the energy that is extracted from water, hydroelectricity. So renewable energy is something that they are doing, but apart from that, the most important thing is creating products designed for reuse and recycling. So what I'm trying to highlight here is that ESG is integrated into the business, unlike the CSR driven communication. So sustainability in brand values and mission. ESG is embedded into the corporate governance, supply chain ethics, and community engagement. For example, Microsoft has pledged to become carbon negative by 2030, reinforcing its brand commitment to sustainability. So how do I go tell the world that I am going to be carbon negative by 2030? That is the corporate storytelling that we as communication professionals need to understand. We do a lot of content marketing, we do social media campaigns, PR campaigns to tell the ESG impact stories. These stories are going to be a little different from the regular stories that we tell, that we read on the newspapers. How is it going to be different? The difference is that ESG uses a lot of data. There are KPIs, key performance indicators, and it is just not the storytelling that actually matters, but integrating these data points into the storytelling in the way that my audience will understand. Okay, IKEA's People and Planet Positive strategy showcases its efforts in renewable energy, eco friendly products, and supply chain sustainability. All these are integrated into the story that goes live to the stakeholders. It is not just about me sending in stories to the media, me communicating to the stakeholders, but it is also important that the employees are aware of what we are doing, and they stand along with us as the biggest brand ambassadors. I don't have to hire Amitabh Bachchan to talk about my ESG strategies. My ESG strategy has to be talked by the employee of my company to his family, immediate family. The immediate family, especially if they have children in the family, that son or daughter has to go talk about the ESG integration of their dad's company into the school. The school has to spread the information. So that is how the word of mouth actually keeps spreading about a certain product or a service. It doesn't stop there. It also needs to have, or this ESG effort builds stronger relationship with the investors, regulators, and the public. So there is always a challenge. When there is a challenge, the challenge is there in every business. But here again, we have a challenge as communicators. Greenwashing is the term that is used. Greenwashing is a deceptive marketing practice where we blow our trumpets too much. We see a cat and then say that it is a lion. McDonald's did that. Big brands like Volkswagen has done that. Volkswagen has done that. and they have been sued for that. So it is our responsibility as communicators not to greenwash. We talk statistics, we talk ethics, we be transparent in every result that we tell the public. And it has to be substantiated with relevant proofs and certifications that come from different certifying bodies. Today we are all aware of ISO 14,000, right? ISO 9000, ISO 2000, 9001, 2015, and different other certifications that companies get, right? So they are going to evaluate you. I work for a company where we have got a certification saying that we are the best employer in this field of information and technology. We have been constantly or we have been for a long time, we have been considered a great place to work. So these are certifications that help to be ethically stable when we are communicating to our stakeholders. Okay, so let me move to the next slide and then we will close. I think I have taken enough time. It's already a little over the time, but just bear with me for just few more slides and then we are going to close. So how do I do this communication effectively? Using verified data and impact metrics. There are challenges in every business. ESG also has challenges. Sometimes we promise certain things, but we might not be able to deliver. For example, there are several companies which say that we will be carbon neutral by 2030. But it is not necessary that we have to achieve that by 2030. There is no hard and fast rule here. Therefore, we have to accept if we are not able to accomplish the target. So being honest about the challenges and updating our stakeholders about the progress is something that is very important. Ensure third party validations, certifications, audits and accreditations. Today every big company, today if you take Indigo Airlines, they have a ESG report. Every company is expected not only to come out with a CSR report but also an ESG report. These reports are audited not just internally but by external parties like KPMG or Ernst and Young. Those are auditing companies which audit every information that you show in your report, and this is supported by certain accreditations. Sometimes generic terms like eco-friendly might not be the great strategy to communicate. Therefore we need to go into the specific. How do I brand myself as a eco-friendly company? How do I why do I say that I'm a eco-friendly company? If I have a renewable packaging, if my supply chain is using electric vehicles, and if I'm not emitting any carbon into the environment, and if I'm not spoiling the air quality inside my factory, then I call myself eco-friendly, right? So that's the way I have to tell what I need to tell. There are certain guidelines and frameworks for this. It is not that I write anything and everything on my report, or I communicate everything about the report to the public. There are so many technical aspects to it which might not be of great interest to the readers. But it is my responsibility to tell the public about what they need to know in the fashion that they will accept. So here are a few guidelines, basic general guidelines that govern the ESG reports. GRI is one, Global Reporting Initiative. It covers a broad range of ESG topics, including climate change, labor practices, human rights, and supply chain impacts. If you go into any corporate website, let's say Google, I work for a company called Virtusa. Earlier, I worked with Danfoss. There is a website for whistleblowers. Whistleblowers could be anybody. I can just highlight, I can go into the website, log in anonymously, or I can also tell my name, reveal my identity and launch a complaint. Say this particular officer is demanding a bribe. He's expecting something under the table. He is not passing my bills. As an employee of the company, I am not treated fairly. My boss is abusing me. There is some sexual harassment inside the company. I can complain about anything. So that is also part of sustainability, right? The labor practices, human rights, the supply chain impacts that I create, all that are governed by the GRI guidelines. SASB stands for Sustainability Accounting Standards Board. This is a framework that defines industry specific ESG metrics. ESG metrics, okay, when I go on my bike, when I go on my car, we have a speedometer, right? We have a speedometer. It tells you, kilometers per hour. So similarly, there are ESG metrics that actually tells you where we are at the moment, ensuring companies report financially material ESG data relevant to the sector. TCFD, Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosure, focuses on climate related governance, strategy, risk management, and financial impacts if at all the company has certain kind of environmental impact, especially for manufacturing units, right? Manufacturing units, they use a lot of water. So is there a strategy to see how the wastewater is treated, or why is there a strategy to minimize the water consumption? All these are something that will be of interest to my stakeholders, to the employees and to the external world, right? So these are things that I will be as a PR guy, as a communication guy, these are the things that I'm going to talk to my public. But how am I going to tell this story in an impactful way? It is a lot of data that is involved here, but I also need to make an emotional connection. How do I do it? Let's say the company reduces CO2 emission by 30%. If I'm going to put this statement on my internal communication platforms, probably the Yammer or the SharePoint, or I put it on the Facebook external platforms like Facebook, X, or LinkedIn, saying that Virtusa is going to has reduced CO2 emission by 30%, nobody is actually going to care for it, or it is not going to be of great interest to anybody. So what do? I need to show my office. I need to show a worker who's benefited from cleaner air due to the emission reduction effort that the company has taken. How clean the air inside is. I have a butterfly garden inside the campus. How is that related to sustainability? We all know it is environmental friendly. There is a, 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 a situation that I'm creating for my employees to know that the company is looking after the nature, safeguarding the nature. There are complex topics related to ESG. So ESG can evolve technical jargons and detailed report. Storytelling translates these into digestible, compelling, and good narratives. Yes, we are going to use data and we are going to tell the real world outcomes to prove the effectiveness of our communication, but we are going to tell it in a more simpler fashion. Therefore, we also, by doing this, we build trust and brand authenticity. A transparent and engaging ESG story reassures investors, employees, and consumers that the company's sustainability commitment are genuine. Consumers value progress over perfection. You can tell that we were not able to achieve uh, the CO2 emissions. We have so much of CO2 emissions. We were supposed to be carbon neutral, but we were not able to achieve it. There's no harm in saying that to our public. People respect that. People respect when you say that you're transparent. Brands that admit their ESG journey is evolving are seen as more trustworthy, right? And the last slide is, how do I measure this? There is always a measurement, right? There are key performance indicators, and these key performance indicators have to be evaluated to know that the tools and the techniques that I use to communicate to my stakeholders are effective. So, media coverage and sentiment analysis is one way of doing it. Of course, the ESG rankings and reputation scores that the third party has given us is something of great. That's a great indicator for us that we are doing well. We also do investor and customer perception surveys so that we understand how people react to what has been told to them, the news that they hear about the company. But the most prominent or the most effective way is to understand the employee engagement in sustainability initiatives. Let me give you a nice example, and then we will wind up this particular session. Last year, uh, from the company where I worked, we took all our employees on a midnight walk on the beach to know. This was a combined initiative by the forest department and our company and an NGO, where we tried to safeguard the turtles. The turtles lay eggs. The eggs most of the time are washed in the water, or it is stolen, or it is eaten by dogs in the beach. So it is a responsibility. We thought it was a responsibility to safeguard these eggs. There are places where they safeguard these eggs. They hatch the eggs and then they release it to the sea on a particular day whenever it hatches. So we took our employees. Here is an employee engagement activity that I have created. At the same time, I have communicated that the company is environmental friendly. We care about the nature. We also told them that we are in for any sustainable initiatives. It was an employee driven initiative which catered to the different aspects of ESG. I built a brand around it. I built a story to my internal audience. I told that same story to the external world. I told that story to my son at home. I talked about this to my wife. My wife talked about this in her school. So people now know that the company where I'm working is a responsible company. We are environmentally responsible, we are socially responsible, and we have a great governance. Well, I would like to conclude with this. The key takeaway for today is this: ESG is a business imperative, not a trend anymore. It is a thing that is integrated into the business. However, authenticity and transparency is essential to build the brand value. Sustainability reporting must be data driven. It cannot be just storytelling, but the data has to be integrated into the story because storytelling enhances engagement and impact. I'm done for today. I hope I created a certain value into your thought process. ESG is a very vast subject. It cannot be covered in 35-40 minutes, but I think I have done justice to whatever we discussed here. I'm open for questions and I'll try my best to answer them. Thank you. Yes, please go ahead, Daniel Das.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourselves and you can ask your question. Dear participants, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Thank you.
Sir, good evening, Dr. Spurgeon. Thanks for a very good presentation. I have a small doubt. See, even though we talk about ESG and CSR and all, these days, even the public relation agencies are facing it very, or the corporate communication head of the concerned company are facing difficulty in getting into the media. Like when you told that you organized a turtle walk, how was the support from the media side?
We work with the agency, so but technically they have deliverables, so therefore they were forced to get our things on the media. Yes,
Mhm.
the mainstream media, there are hundreds of people doing the same thing. If I say that I'm doing a turtle walk, it is not just me that is doing the turtle walk in the
That's what, so yeah.
yeah. So it is not just about the mainstream media. It is also
Yes, sir.
about the digital, digital media that we
Okay.
use internally, and we promote certain kind of, we pump in certain kind of money into it to get a boost of all these things. Thereby, internally we have platforms like Yammer and SharePoint where we talk to our employees about it, and it's a very
Okay.
engaging platform. It's kind of Facebook for the company employees. At the same time, we sent emails, we created posters around it. We made it a talking subject.
Okay. Okay.
So that is the way. Maybe the mainstream might not be interested in these kind of things, but when you talk about data driven, fact driven initiatives, and how we have improved ourselves from where we were earlier and where we are now, then that is a story of interest to many of the mainstream media.
The mainstream papers. Okay.
And especially if you are a company with an IPO, or if you are a listed company, then these are considered to be very effective tools or
Yes, sir.
techniques to tell the world that you are a sustainable brand.
Now that media has introduced paid write-ups, advertorials, and strongly supporting their advertisers. So we are, as a PR agency, which I was heading earlier, we used to face a lot of difficulties getting into the mainstream papers.
Yes, I agree to it. Yes, agree
Yeah.
to it. There is difficulty.
Yeah.
But this particular topic, sustainability, is something
Yes, sir.
uh, that will be carried. But the way we tell it, I think Ramkumar sir can give us a little bit of insight of how to attract these mainstream medias with the sustainability content.
Thanks, Muthukumar Balu sir. Muthukumar Balu is our Vice President of PRSA Chennai chapter. We media looks for numbers. Whatever you can explain in numbers and whatever you can explain the benefits in numbers, etc., media will try ready to write about it. So that's it. And media needs more celebrities, political celebrities, whoever like no ministers or some topmost cine celebrities. If they come and inaugurate, if they come and speak about the topic, media will write about it. Media needs more celebrities and more numbers. Thank you.
Yes, this is an awesome technique actually. Numbers for sure. We get a lot of numbers on ESG. There's no doubt about it. Probably we have to integrate the celebrity value into ESG so that people are more aware and the media is interested in carrying our news.
Friends, you can unmute and you can ask questions or you can send the questions in the chat box.
Good evening, sir. I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
Sir, in second slide or something, you said that employees are the biggest ambassadors.
Okay.
So, do people even listen to common persons other than influenced person or any kind of celebrities?
When it comes to corporate, I personally feel that employees are the internal brand ambassadors. So that is why I try to give an example saying that, if I have a certain initiative or if I come across a certain initiative that my company has been successful with reference to sustainability, I definitely will come and share it with my wife and kids, right? And my wife and kids internally they will grasp the information, and my son will definitely go and tell his friends that, what, my father, he's working for this company, they went on a turtle walk. Okay, this kid, whoever is listening to it, might go back home and say, papa, he to his father, he might ask, my friend's father's company is doing a turtle walk, are you guys not saving the turtle, are you not environmental friendly? Those are, so that way my employee is an internal brand ambassador. Yes, of course, there are some commercial things that we might have to integrate into sustainability, like Ramkumar sir mentioned, for media attention. Just because Amitabh Bachchan comes and says that companies have to be carbon neutral by 2030, nobody is going to even listen to him. If somebody, I don't think anybody is more popular than our prime minister. He talks about sustainability in many meetings. Are we still uh, accomplishing the targets? I don't think so. Just because of a celebrity value or celebrity attesting the need for ESG and sustainability, I don't think people will actually incorporate sustainability into their lives. It starts from home actually. How do I clear my dustbin, the kitchen waste? How do I use water inside my washroom? Am I using it in a minimal fashion? What are the lighting equipments that I have at home? Do I use solar energy? Do I have plants around my house? Am I trying to I excrete carbon dioxide? So am I planting trees around me? So those are things that happens at home. I'm using a car. Am I actually using the car only if there are four passengers inside the car, so that I minimize the carbon emission? Or am I going to switch over to an electric car or a hydrogen car, which is soon going to come into the market? Or am I going to be health conscious, going to ride my bicycle to the office nearby? Right, so
Uh,
these are things that we need to I feel that these are things that can be told only to us by people close to us. So employees can should be considered as an internal brand ambassador.
Doctor, it's very good to start from home, to start from kids. It's a really good idea. Now, there is a question in the chat box by Mr. Lokesh. How to build infrastructure of ESG for small industries and tier 2 or tier 3 companies? How a small industry can build a ESG platform?
There are multiple AI platforms that can generate content for you for ESG, but I would recommend that we do not spend much on communicating ESG aspects. A simple ESG report will be the first step. The second step is to put that report on your website. The third step is to communicate to your employees. The if you communicate to the media, they might or they might not carry the news, but that is fine. But at least let the employees know what you are doing, and that will have a value over a period of time.
Friends,
Yeah.
unmute who are not asking questions, please.
Okay, did I answer that question?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, tier 1 companies like Google or Amazon, they spend crores and crores of money just to communicate sustainability. So that might not be feasible with smaller companies. For example, the company that I work for, Virtusa, we have 70 people on board for communications, corporate communications and marketing, but I am the only person exclusively allotted for ESG communication. So you see the importance the companies give for communication. Out of 70 people, I'm the only person who actually contributes or talks. I'm expected to talk about communication to the external public. So eventually it will grow. There is a statistics, I don't know from whom, but they say that ESG, people who talking about ESG has grown 200% from the previous year. So if in the next 5-10 years, there is plenty of scope for communication professionals to specialize in ESG communications. Yeah, next question, please.
Doctor, let this be the final question because it's a Gauri sent a message in the chat box. Sir, agri industry is one of the huge contributors to the pollution. What's your take on the role of ESGs on agribusiness and how media can promote the same?
Madam, it is not just the agri-business. If you look into the production of a motorbike or a car, you know how much of water they use, and where does this water go? The wastewater, the dyeing water from the garments that we wear, the manufacturing units of different products, your air conditioner, your fan, your compressors, right? Almost all the factories or manufacturing units definitely has a lot of pollution, but what people do is to try and neutralize that. So, a sewage treatment plant, the wastewater is treated through a sewage treatment plant. There is a rainwater harvesting that is happening within the factories. The waste, the recycled water is used for gardening, and the garden is not the products that are grown in the garden are used in the kitchen. Let me give you a quick example so that you will understand better. Earlier I was working for a company called Danfoss, and those are huge buildings, factory buildings, all air conditioned. So there is a heat emitted from the air conditioners, which actually goes into the environment, making the environment, you might not feel it directly, but it actually makes the environment hotter. We use air conditioners at home, the same thing. The air conditioner gives you cool air inside the room, but it actually pushes hot air outside. So if it is an accumulation of hot air everywhere, the environment is not going to be like how it used to be 100 years back. So what there was an innovative technology that this company had implemented. They had a system where they would observe the heat that came out of these air conditioners, the cooler, the chiller plants, and that was diverted into the kitchen where water was heated through the energy that was released from the air conditioner, from the chiller plant, and that energy was used to heat water for washing the vessels. It was a factory, so there were like 2000 employees who had food every day, three times a day. Therefore, the use of water, the need for hot water was there, so therefore this energy was transformed there. It was a beautiful story for us to tell to our employees. Similarly, the agri industry, though it contributes to pollution, for sure the government and the media are taking necessary steps in promoting ESG. In fact, for liquor industries, there are plenty of liquor industries in Tamil Nadu. There are manufacturing units, production units, agri related businesses and industries, fertilizer industries, right? Their scrutiny is much higher than a normal company. An IT company is governed by a different set of rules, but a manufacturing company is governed by a different framework or a benchmark, right? So therefore the media is talking loud about this in the recent days. The government is also talking, uh, you know, or insisting companies to adhere to the sustainability norms and the GRI guidelines.
Wonderful lecture, Dr. Spurgeon. Since time is over, there are multiple questions are there in the box, chat box, but still time is over. We need to close this session. Over to Dr. Raja for vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. First of all, I want to thank our national president, Dr. Ajit Padak, sir, always guiding us to do innovative programs in Chennai chapter PRSI. Next, I want to thank our Vice President South Sharma, sir, as well as our Chairman, Chennai chapter Chairman Ram Kumar Singaram, sir, always motivating us, all the EC members, our members, to achieve a new programs, innovative topics in the Chennai chapter. Thank you, sir. Spurgeon, sir. The day one I met you, I told you, sir, surely we have to do a program. Today it was done successfully. Thank you, sir. My topic, PDF, postdoctoral research topic is sustainable. The all over the world, the one word coin everywhere, sustainability. Yes, I'm also doing AI for education, sustainability, AI for education. Thank you, sir. Today we received n numbers of messages. Continuously last 1 hour we received n numbers of messages, social messages, especially in ESG. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ram Kumar, sir, and our EC members, Treasurer Sridevi ma'am, Vice Chairman Mr. Muthukumar Balu, sir, Thank you all for this wonderful session done today. Thank you all. Thank you.
Participants, thank you very much. You are most important for us. And thank you very much for joining in Zoom as well as in YouTube channels. Dr. Raja will post the feedback link. Please fill it for the certification, participation certification. And once again, thank you to Dr. Spurgeon. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
your patient listening, guys. Thanks.
Thanks.
Take care. God bless. Bye.
Participant feedback form is sent in the chat box. You can find it. Thank you.
Dr. Sridevi ma'am, please post a feedback form in YouTube ma'am.
It's posted, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Check
much.
again.
Dear participants, kindly fill up the feedback form. Within a second, you will receive an e-certificate through your mail ID. Dear participants, we posted feedback form. Within a second, it's an automatic certificate you will receive through email. Thank you all. Thank you, dear participants. We all meet you in next program with another good topic. Thank you all. Thank you for your support. Thank you all.